The spotlight from the bypoll election results may be on the BJP, but could it be the Shiv Sena that needs to wonder about its future? Also, India's national carrier has been bleeding funds for years, and now that the government wants to sell it, there is not a single bidder. Why are things only getting worse for Air India? It's Friday, June 1st. After 2 days of debate over malfunctioning electronic voting machines and questions about what heat does to them, the focus shifted to election results on Thursday. 4 Lok Sabha seats went to the polls on Monday earlier this week, with EVM glitches prompting some additional rounds of polling on Wednesday. Here are Thursday's results. An anti-Bharatiya Janata Party coalition of the Rashtriya Lok Dal and the Samajwadi Party won the Lok Sabha seat in Uttar Pradesh, giving more hope to those who believe a united opposition can take the might of the BJP in 2019. The Nagaland Democratic People's Party, which is a member of the BJP-ruled National Democratic Alliance, won the only Lok Sabha seat from Nagaland. The Nationalist Congress Party, supported by the Congress, won in Maharashtra's Bhandara Gondia, ahead of the BJP. The BJP managed a victory in Palghar, also in Maharashtra, where it came ahead of the Shiv Sena. Results also came in from 11 assembly seats across the country where bypolls were held on Monday. The big story for most will be the win of the coalition in Kairana, making it the third bypoll loss against an anti-BJP alliance for Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Adityanath. But Palghar, a constituency not far from Mumbai, sets up a different narrative ahead of the Lok Sabha elections that are slated for 2019. This was the first Lok Sabha seat ever in which the Shiv Sena has contested on a separate ticket, without an alliance with the BJP. Here, the BJP won on Thursday, with the Shiv Sena coming second, Bahujan Vikas Aghadi third, and the Congress a distant fourth. The result offers hope to the BJP, which had to contend with a hostile ally in the form of the Sena. Some analysts suggested that the split of votes between the BJP and the Shiv Sena, which have until now always fought Lok Sabha seats as allies, would make it simple for another candidate to win instead. The BJP's victory, however, sets up a harder decision for the Shiv Sena. It has spent the last few years railing against the BJP and announced earlier this year that it would contest Lok Sabha and assembly elections by itself. But the splitting of votes in Palghar only seems to have helped the BJP. To complicate matters further, the NCP insisted on Thursday that it did not need the Shiv Sena to join its anti-BJP alliance. That leaves the Sena with very few options. It could go hat in hand back to the BJP, it could contest alone as it promised, or it could plan out a tactical alliance with the Congress NCP without actually allying with them. None of these are easy paths for the Maharashtra-based party to make. And with elections approaching and alliances being worked out all over the country, it may not have much time to decide on its approach either. Which way will the Shiv Sena go? The Maharaja may not be for sale after all. When the Indian government finally decided to declare that it was selling Air India in March, it seemed like an announcement that should have been made years ago. The national carrier has been bleeding funds for years and is heavily laden with debt, even as it continues to try and compete against a vibrant domestic sector. Now, though there remain arguments for and against privatization, it seemed likely that the current government would go for a sale. Still, it waited until 2018 to actually issue the memorandum inviting bids from prospective buyers. Things since then have clearly not gone as planned. The final date for filing bids elapsed on Thursday without the government hearing from a single potential buyer. The deadline had already been extended from May 14th to May 31st. But the government made it clear that it would not push the date any further, especially because it's unlikely that companies stayed away because they did not have enough time. The government had originally planned to shortlist qualified bidders for the airline by June 15th, after it had set a reserve price. In the middle of May, when the government extended the deadline, it said that there had been about 160 queries from interested bidders, suggesting there was interest in buying the airline. The plan had been to sell a 76% stake in the airline, along with management control, with no special rights attached to the remaining 24%. But the conditions attached to the stake, including taking on 61% of the debt, which is close to Rs 33,392 crore, as well as specific guidelines regarding how it was to be run, kept a number of potential bidders away. All the three major domestic airlines in India, Jet Airways, Indigo and SpiceJet, ruled themselves out of the race after the government's announcement, saying the terms and conditions were not favourable. At the time, it seemed as if there might have been some interest from foreign players, although they would have had to partner with an Indian company to place a bid. Pressure also came from the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh and its affiliates, which are generally opposed to privatization, and saw its chief Mohan Bhagwat say in April that Air India must be owned by an Indian. By the end of May, it seemed evident that no bid was likely to come in, forcing the government to say that it did not have to sell the airline at this time. Now that the bid period has indeed elapsed, the government will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what exactly to do with India's ailing Maharaja. Would you prefer if your messaging app came with a dose of Swadeshi nationalism? Well, then Kimbho is perfect for you. The app, which debuted on both Android and iOS on Wednesday, was developed by Baba Ramdev's Patanjali. It features a logo that is almost exactly like WhatsApp's green speech bubble, except instead of a telephone handset within it, Kimbho has a conch. Even the name seems to be a direct port of Facebook's massively popular WhatsApp, with Kimbho translating to what's happening in Sanskrit, according to a Patanjali spokesperson. And in what may be a perfect metaphor for Patanjali's recent fortunes, it debuted to some fanfare and much online humor on Wednesday, only to suddenly disappear from Google's Play Store on Thursday. The app went down not long after a French researcher who goes by the name Elliot Alderson pointed to a number of serious security flaws in the application. Copycat apps with similar names, however, showed up on the Play Store immediately. Online messaging may be an odd choice for a company that exploded onto the market with Swadeshi-themed consumer products like toothpaste, ghee, and Ayurvedic medicines. But Patanjali seems willing to dabble in just about any segment. It launched instant noodles a couple of years ago, intends to launch an entire range of ready-made garments by 2019, and this week even made news by offering Patanjali-branded SIM cards, though only for its employees. There might be a good reason for the company to diversify too. After giving major consumer product companies like ITC and Hindustan Lever a run for their money between 2015 and 2017, Patanjali is no longer posting tremendous growth numbers. Although the company blamed demonetization and the goods and services tax, this does not seem to have held back the other firms in the same segment. Indeed, in financial year 2018, it saw no revenue growth compared to the previous year, even as other companies like Nestle and Dabur saw revenue swell up by 8 to 10%. Despite Patanjali's reputation of being willing to put its name on just about any product, instant messaging still seems like an idea out of left field. Kimbho, if it returns to the Play Store, may pick up some users because of its Swadeshi sales pitch, particularly at a time when questions are being raised about how global social networks treat privacy. But, as Elliot Alderson showed, this app bleeds about as much data as any other. And even that cannot be monetized well unless hundreds of thousands of people are on it. Will a pitch from Ramdev be enough to get that many people saying Kimbho instead of WhatsApp? You chew on that and we'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.